of This Is Our Life. This is a snare. I've already showed you the snare. I just made this video. I spent 20 minutes making this video, and it didn't upload, so...
Sorry to laugh.
You know, well, let's see.
Don't scream now.
Yeah, because this is not a video I really enjoy making more than once. I didn't enjoy making it the first time. But I think it's important to make these videos to let people know about things, and like the previous video I tried to make, I will preface this video by saying that what I am dealing with here is the abusive side of youth treatment facilities, the abusive side of psychiatry and psychology. But there is good psychiatry, there is good psychology, there is help out there. It's not all bad, it's not all abusive. You don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I've had good help. Now, in San Antonio, Texas, if you want good help, good psych help, you need to go to the hospital. You go to Methodist Transplant and Specialty in the medical center, or Methodist Metropolitan, which is north of downtown, near the San Antonio College area, SAC area. One place you do not want to go is the Knicks. The Knicks specialty on Vance Jackson is very abusive. But my main interest here are the facilities I was in as a kid. Now, my previous video I dealt with the Devereux Foundation. I mean, with Austin State Hospital, excuse me. This one I'm going to deal with the Devereux Foundation, which I was in for 3+ years. The Devereux facility I was in was south of Victoria, Texas, about halfway between Victoria and Goliad, right off Coletta Creek, where the Battle of Coletta Creek took place during the Texas Revolution. Texas Revolution. Not far from the Fannin battlegrounds, also Texas Revolution, and Goliad State Park, where the mission is. Anyway, so a lot of the people in Devereux were there either because of the courts, or we won't file charges if you go ahead and get sent there. Because remember, we were kids. We didn't actually have a choice. We didn't have a say in the matter. And the first time I was sent there, I don't remember what I had done or supposedly done to get sent there. Second time it was fighting. Or I was supposedly going to be charged with assault on a police officer, destruction of public property, and trespassing on public property, unless I went back to that place. Well, I later found out that was a bunch of BS. So anyway, I got sent to Devereux. I was in Barkley Hall at first, and later I was in Parkdale Lodge. And I'm not doing this in any particular order. I'm just talking about the entire time I was there. During the time I was there, I had, for one school year, I had a good math teacher, and I'm not going to say her name. I would like to, because I would like to pay homage to her, because she was a great lady. And she made us work. A lot of the kids didn't like her. They had a particular name for her, but she made us work. She taught us. She expected the best out of us. You know, the lady who replaced her, I remember going to class, being excited that, you know, hey, I'm going back to math class. This teacher's going to be there. I'm going to do good. I went up, what was it, 2.5 grade level in one school year with that teacher. Well, I get back into the class. Ooh, sorry, my wife sneezed.
Sorry.
Bless you. I get back into the classroom, and it's some new lady. She had a strange way of putting makeup on. She had a Three Stooges kind of haircut, and she thought that a hair dryer was a necessity in life.
Was she wearing a mohawk also?
Well, she had, you know, that bowl cut, you know.
Oh God.
And
might as well have been a mohawk.
Yeah, and you know, the staff there, the staff and the teachers could have cared less. They were just warehousing us. In Barkley Hall, there was a middle-aged man in a dorm with a bunch of kids, and I was one of his victims. I'm not going to go into the details of that. It's just I was one of his victims. You do not put a middle-aged man in a dorm with kids, especially not one that's a pedophile. There's this nightmare that I've had ever since either I was there or got out of there. This incident where one of the kids was forced to do exercises. He was killed in the process by the staff, and they made us carry his body out back of the dorm and bury it. Did that happen? I don't know, but why do I keep having this dream? It's a nightmare. It wakes me up. It scares me. There was a staff member in Barclay Hall. He would show up at work. He would sit in his car in the back parking lot. He'd smoke his joint, and then he'd put, the stuff in his eyes, and then he'd come in. Beatings were routine. The staff would get other kids to beat up on other kids as a means of controlling the situation and controlling us. It got to the point where I wasn't going to put up with it anymore. I just got sick and tired of it. I went AWOL once. Man, one kid from Barclay Hall, because I was in Barclay Hall at the time, the rest of the kids were from Parkdale Lodge. We stole the flatbed truck. We were gone basically 2 days, one night. We got picked up in San Antonio. We turned ourselves in, actually. And we sat in juvenile hall all day long. I remember those were the best eggs I had ever eaten.
They were real eggs.
Oh, they were greasy as all could be, but it was like I hadn't had anything to eat for 2 days. And I got, for going AWOL for 2 days, I got put in an isolation cell for a week, like a week plus 1 or 2 days. What you get in an isolation cell is you're in your underwear, you have a plastic covered mattress and a blanket.
Boy,
that's
luxury.
It. Yeah, that's it. You sit in this concrete room. Now, some of the other kids from Parkdale Lodge, they got 2 weeks in isolation, but they had open door. I had locked door.
Oh, shit.
And, once they fed us cat. Domestic cat. There were cats that hung out behind the mess hall, and all of a sudden they were gone. And we were eating this super stew, and it had shotgun pellets in it. Staff, they weren't eating it, but we sure did, because we didn't know what it was at the moment. They made us do exercises. Exercises were done as punishment, as well as every day after school we had about half an hour break. Then we had to do exercises anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour on a blacktop. This is the Texas Coastal Bend. It's over 100 degrees. You're on asphalt, which absorbs the heat. People would stop sweating. Okay.
It's not good.
No. And they just made us keep doing the exercises. My best friend from back home got sent there. He was there for about a week, and they kicked him out, believe it or not. He was in Anderson Division. I was in Woodlands Division.
What did he do, beat him up?
I don't know. Well, a few years...
He got out of there, at least.
Well, a few years later, he hanged himself. I got into an argument with the dorm secretary because she said some BS or lied or did something, and I called her on it, and she sent her husband out after me. And I told her, look, or told him or her or one or both, look, if you don't be dishing it out if you can't take it. One of the staff members there pulled a switchblade knife on one of the kids. We had blanket parties. It's where you go into somebody's room, you throw a blanket or a sheet over them, and you beat the you-know-what out of them. And the staff didn't always discourage this. Sometimes the staff knew quite well what was going on and didn't do anything to stop it. There was various types of sexual abuse from various people. I already talked about that insofar as the person who did it to me. Fights were common. The staff we would have roll call every day, I think twice a day, and the staff we used to eat in the dorms, so there was a dining room in all the dorms, and when I first got there, we ate in the dorms, and we would sit there and wait, and sometimes the staff just didn't want to do anything, and we were supposedly at activities. Well, one of the primary activities was watching TV, and like that's an activity.
What an activity.
Yeah, and sometimes the staff just didn't want to do anything. So what they would do is they would just come into the dining room and yell at us, berate us, and then they would leave, go back to the nurse's station in the dorm, and you'd hear them in there laughing and talking and whatnot. And, the dorm supervisor in Barclay Hall, he would pick kids up by their head and tap their head or bounce their heads against these cinder block walls. I mean, once they put me in an isolation cell with this other kid so I could beat them up, but I never actually hit them. I threw some punches to scare them, to make the staff think I was actually doing something, but I just couldn't do that. I didn't hit them. One of the staff in Parkdale Lodge, he pulled up a marijuana plant that somebody had planted outside their window, their dorm window, took it home with him. And this guy was in the National Guard, and he had been a sheriff's deputy, I think, a cop or a sheriff's deputy one. When I turned 18, I demanded to know what my rights were. They were very reluctant to inform me. Yet that was the first year that there had been a state law where they had to inform a person of their rights. One of my rights was the ability to use the telephone. They did everything they could to keep me from using that telephone. I had to get an attorney, which was hard to do. I wish I knew that attorney's name. I wish I remembered it, because if it were not for her, I would not have gotten out of there. There was a staff member who cheated on some other staff member's wife with another staff member's wife, and that guy comes into the dorm carrying a gun, looking for him. Of course, he had taken off, the parts unknown.
Chicken.
Yeah. And he was married too. And he sleeps with this woman who was married to somebody else. So, anyway, we had jobs, what they called jobs. We got paid like 10-20 cents an hour. We never actually got the money. They put it into an account. We never actually got the money though, but we had to work. That's called slave labor, working for nothing. So anyway, I'm gonna cut it at that. This is almost 15 minutes now, and I don't want this to not upload. So have a good day.